get educated first before you start taking that action. But at the same time, don't get stuck in that education phase.
Yeah.
So, okay, so as traditionally in our world of real estate here in Maricopa County, Arizona, especially if we just go into Azreia, the last 14 years has been a seller's market, right? So, and it was always been sub 200,000. So you could cash flow, you come to Phoenix, you could cash flow, you could flip, you could lend. It's heaven out here in real estate. But now, post COVID, even when it comes to education, even Azria itself has to adapt, just like we do as in any entrepreneur. We're all business owners versus just real estate. So it's like, yeah, you can't come here and maybe just flip like hotcakes like you used to. You can't buy a rental and just cash flow like you used to. So our goal here is going into the education is to show the members what's out there. One, buy right? Marcus just locked up a sixplex for what, 30, 40 cents on the dollar in today's market. My wife and I bought a mobile home on land for 50K and it was worth 230 because we're marketing and we're writing offers. But in addition to that, it's Lenny, there's the pad splits, there's the Airbnbs, there's assisted living facilities. We just did a podcast on the path of progress with all the thousands of homes and industrial plants on the West Phoenix that's just exploding. So it's just like being aware as to what's happening around you, adapting, knowing your options, and then picking one and getting in your lane. So yeah, we're just trying to our job is to expose you what's out there.
It's so interesting because it's like I think it goes back to what Marcus said of knowing your numbers. And you, whether you're fix and flipping, whether you're doing, any creative finance, whether you're doing, lease options, whether you're doing buy and hold. And it's like knowing your numbers, but then knowing where you need to take risks. Cause like knowing your numbers on a flip, I think that's where most people fail, right? They don't understand contracting. They don't understand the budgeting for unknowns, and then just get hammered once. And then what if your house doesn't sell in 3 months? But like on that, your numbers to make sure you're not like you're going into this. It's quick, it's fire, it's short. But knowing your numbers on the opposite side, on the buy and hold, it's knowing your numbers but not letting the numbers and fear control you. Because on the buy and hold side, man, I have so many darn clients who it's all regret. It's all fear. It's all regret. I mean, how many people do we all know that's like from 2014? I still have a client still 10 years later that still every year is like, hey, Andy, let's get this going again. And then they talk themselves out of it. And it's like, dude, you're like, you don't get it. Like, you're not changing yourself. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So it's like on the buy and hold side, it's like, I always try to tell people, like, compare it to dollar cost averaging when you're buying stocks and things like that.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you set a goal, you do your numbers, and you say, okay, what are the pros and cons? Because what if my numbers in today's market, what if my cash flow isn't that big? Well, okay, what's the con? Is there a compensating factor? Okay, well, do you believe rates will go down? Do you believe this is a growing area? Because then you kind of assess that risk. I had a guy who I actually told him to go to Azreia. He's an engineer mindset. Dude's like, doesn't even own a rental property, but he's like, I got to have X amount of cap rate. I'm not going to do it this. I want a multifamily. I'm like, well, there's not really those in the East Valley. So like go somewhere else. And
Right, right.
dude, every conversation is 2 hours of analysis. And I'm like, you have analysis by paralysis. If your goal is to just, how many doors you want to own? 20 over 20 years? Great. So that's one a year. All right. Just go at one point. Just pull the trigger because we have so many people. I mean, that's my number one. When you're talking, Mike, about I do these building wealth real estate classes because I have a true passion of helping people learn how to buy and hold and create long-term wealth.